BEEX project is a no-profit foundation about visual art and photography. If you want to help us, just drop a donation on buymeacoffee.com/BerlinExplorer.
Hey, welcome to 50 Minutes of Experience, and today I'm with Alberto Moura from Portugal, living in Berlin. Welcome, Alberto.
Thank you very much.
It's a really pleasure for me to have you here. And today we talk about your experience, and in particular, not only as a photographer, but also as a human. But before to going in that, just will be nice to know more about you. And can you just introduce yourself to our listener?
Yeah, sure. I mean, thank you very much for this invitation. I'm quite humble with that. So I'm a photographer for already many years. I was growing up in Portugal and even studying in Portugal photography. And then I was working in different places. I was working in cruise ships around Europe. I went to China to teach photography. I was living in France. And some years ago, a friend of mine invited me to come to work in Germany. In the beginning, I didn't want because Germany always sounded very cold for me. And in the end, I went to try just to see how is the country. And I actually fall in love with the country. And I start to live here. And this was actually, I was living in Bayern, and then I got a little bit fed up of Bayern, and I decided to come to Berlin. Yeah.
Yeah, Berlin attracts a lot of people. It's what it is.
It is. I mean.
Yeah, it's full of inspiration, no?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I was not aware of it. It's just because my girlfriend is from Berlin, and then she was start to speak, and they said, "You have to come to Berlin." Yeah, okay, but I don't want to go vacations more north. I want to go south. I want to have a beach place. No, but you as a photographer, you should go to Berlin. Okay, let's go to Berlin. And when I went and I start to have the first contacts, okay, yeah, I want to be here. I want to live here. I want to photograph the people of here. I want to exist here.
Yeah, and then the sea and everything go away. It's totally the fault from someone from Spain, Portugal, Italy, like me, you know. And and then you start to fall in this vertigo of humans and crazy stuff and what else. So just to a bit know more, I would love to know more. How did you start? When did you start to taking picture? And was accidentally? Was because someone else introduced you to that? And then we can just be a bit more deeper in the conversation. Okay?
Yeah, sure. I mean, actually, it was really curiosity because my mother was having an Instamatic Kodak camera, and I always liked to just click on the shutter, just to hear the sound. I just like it to hear the mechanism. And I was 7-8 years old. I don't know. I was joining all the 1 cent and 2 cent coins. At the time, it was the Portuguese money, but I was joining all this little money on a small cigarette box of my mother. I was putting all the coins. And finally, when I was having money to buy the film, I went directly to the first photo shop I saw. I gave all the money to the shop owner. He was not very happy to see so many coins and count all the coins. But he gave me the film. I came home, I put the film in the camera. I made 12 photos because it was how many you could do it. And then I found myself in a dilemma because I didn't have money to develop the film. So the first film that I've ever made, I never saw the photos that I made. And I think from that time, I always always had some kind of passion with photography. And when I was 14, 15, my father was seeing this, that I was always playing with cameras, and he gave me my first SLR. And he introduced me to a photographer that actually he was telling me what should I do, what I shouldn't do, and gave me some books of photography, and I was reading it. And after that, I was trying to always to study arts. Of course, many of my friends were painting, sculpture, and architecture. I was the only one that no, I want just photography. I don't care about painting. I don't care about sculpture. Yeah, so I think even when I went to college, I was actually to study education, to be a teacher. And in the last week, my girlfriend at the time told me that, yeah, but you can also study photography in college, in an art school in Porto. And I was, yeah, I don't care more about education. My father was not very happy, but yeah, so I think if there is something like destiny, it was for me to be a photographer. There was no other choice. It was not actually an introduction. It was not something that it's just something that I needed to do it. And every time since I was a little boy, I wanted to be a photographer. And I think that also it was because I was always a very visual kid. So I was always very attentive to things. I was even giving some expressions to objects. And I think that's why I needed to be a photographer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. So you are a professionist, you can say. You studied photography, your work. So I can imagine your work is a photographer. And what I see on your Instagram is, I can imagine something related to this last year, no? So it's
Yeah.
just a selection of the last year. Can you tell me the reason why? I mean, it's something that because you wanted to start again from zero, or there's some reason.
Yeah, wanted to start from zero, even if it was not really from zero, because when I started to work really as a professional, where I was 22, 23 years old, it was when the digital cameras and digital world were exploding, and I delivered myself completely to the digital, but I could not let it go the analog. Every time I would win some money extra, instead of investing on a new digital camera or new lenses for a digital camera, I was always investing for analog camera or equipment for the dark room, all these kind of things. But the photos that I'm doing lately is mostly because of Corona. Because when it started, it was the moment that actually I was in a trip. And when I arrived from the trip, it was in the end of March when all the countries were getting crazy. I had to do nothing and stop and be at home for 2 weeks in quarantine. And of course, I was like, what the hell I'm gonna do? And my younger sister was like, just do an Instagram account and start to put your photos there. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. Just do it. At least do something. And this is the moment that I start to I created the Instagram account. And of course, at the same moment, you could not see nobody. So I was just seeing my girlfriend every time. And I start to feel like I want to see more people. I want to contact more people. And then it was really going very fluid way. That every time I had a chance, even in Corona time, to meet someone and to photograph someone, I would do it. And I was putting on Instagram. And basically, my Instagram account is mostly portrait work.
Yeah, I've seen, and I was curious to ask you, how did you get in touch with the people usually?
Oh, well, some is friends. Other people, and most other people, it's just asking them, do you want to take photos? And if people say yes, yeah. Of course, I'm.
Maybe you stop in the street, someone say, yeah, I would love to take a picture of you. I mean, it's like that, or you contact someone from Instagram, or
I contact someone from Instagram. I think for the street, it would be a little bit more harder for me. I think I need to have still a connection with a person. Even if sometimes I'm walking on the street and I see a person that I really want to photograph, but I still need this more physical contact, a preparation for the photo shooting, to tell them what I really want from them. So it's mostly contacts that I contact beforehand to photograph. Yeah.
And usually, how does it work? I mean, do you take time with the person you're taking picture? I mean, before the shooting or after the shooting? And do you write some ideas, or you just say, okay, let's do it a walk? I don't know. For example, when it was yesterday, I was shooting with a girl, and yeah, I'm really like in the way I do it, the podcast. Let's go with the flow. And yeah, if there is something, yeah, we shoot. If there is not, it's okay. We have fun, you know. And how does it work for you? It's the same.
Yes, it's exactly the same. I mean,
Okay.
I think that's so perfect, because like, I mean, I like to say something beforehand, but I don't do big preparation. I like to say, okay, I would like to do this and that, but when the shooting starts, you just go with the flow. Just because I think there was a photographer, I don't remember his name. They said that sometimes you direct too much, people feel a little bit more tense. If you let it go, you're gonna see some beauty from the people that you are making photos. They will do something that you're gonna say, yes, it's that. I want that. Yeah. So I just let it flow.
Yeah. So you are right in a way from some ideas, but in the end you let it flow. And
yeah,
I have seen that you shoot usually also with analog, no?
Yeah.
So
Completely.
It's completely always with an analog, or you work also in digital?
This in Instagram, it's completely analog. Of course, at my commercial work, I do digital, but I'm pushing more and more analog for some clients.
Okay. And just to go to touch some other kind of topic.
Yeah.
So there was some moment in your life that photography helped you to overcome some problems.
Fine.
I mean, in general, yeah, that photography helped you also in a way to express yourself with yourself. I mean, to discover something about yourself deeply.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, yes, I found photography. I think everyone can find themselves, can find something to find themselves somehow. I think photography, what is great about it is like I told you, since I was a kid, I was a very visual person, but I was also aware of myself, and trying to understand what I am in the world, what is my connection with the rest of the world. And this was always a question that I still make today. I don't know what I am in the world. I don't know how I connect with this world, and I cannot plan it. I cannot say that tomorrow I'm going to be like this. In 2 months I'm going to be like this, and I will find out who I am. I think that it's always looking to the past that you can know who you are. And the best part is that when you look, the best way to look to the past is photography. It's when you see an old photo of yourself, of your friends, you start to find the reasons that you are here, and you start to know much more about yourself. And I think that that it's something that, I don't know. Of course, there are people that can find themselves in other ways. I always find myself on photography and looking on old photography, old photographs of myself and friends and everything.
And then in a way, so you find also yourself in the portrait you shoot of others?
I that's something that I was even having a discussion with the artist that I saw exhibition recently, and I have to say yes. I mean, I think every person can see themselves now in the photos.
Depends for sure. I think this depends of how much we limit ourselves. I think photography is a tool has no limits, but the only limits we have is ourselves. I think it's everything becomes we can highlight some true with photography, but sometimes we cannot see this true because probably we are not aware of that, so or we don't have the words to describe this true. And this for example is one of the part of photography cannot fix in ourselves.
Yeah, I think I agree. Sometimes it can be very metaphysic, the experience. I mean, I always think that I can see myself a little bit on the photos that I take, but it's not a straight self-portrait, you know? It's a much more deep thing inside of you. I don't know. I mean, for me, it's really quite hard to explain these things because yeah, but I know that when I'm taking photos is always a little bit of me. How much it is, I don't know. It's really quite metaphysic. I know.
Yeah, well, don't worry. It's 99% of the artists have difficulties to explain that. It's I'm as an artist, I started also especially to study as a curator and the editor because I wanted to discover much more inside of my photography. But that's also mean sometimes you have to totally stop to create to see the whole inside of the truth, no?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes I made a joke recently with a friend of mine that I was saying that in my work, I try to understand the connection and the study or create the connection between the artist and the art. And then I really get bored and I go to drink a beer. It's more easy.
So with that, I close this podcast. This was Alberto Moura. And everyone can see the work of him, link in description. And I thank you for your words and this short call. And I hope we can have a more short call in the future. And yeah, to see also the next step of your work.
Okay, thank you very, very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Learn more about our project at allmylinks.com/BerlinExplorer or visit our Instagram and follow Berlin Explorer Project.